in that sixth place spot over Jared Dominguez as we are rolling for heat race number 3, as we are also live on the Facebook page. In the 8M, that is Brett Muth. Outside of him in the W5, the Coburg Vodka SVMF Custom Strand Brothers Excavating, that is Jesse Williamson. In the 27 car, the Haas Machine, Jay Coda, Forestry, Jim and Veronica Pettit. Twisted Motorsports, that is Timothy Allerdings in the 27. Outside of him in the 22G, the Vaca Valley Excavating and Trucking, Delta Gunai and Precision Performance, that is Randy Schaefer in the 22G. Inside row number 3 in the 19W, the Shrambros Excavating CWR, the Bailey Family Frisbee Motorsports, that is Skylar Weinbarger in the 19W. Outside of him in the 4, that is Tim Maltebarger. In the 97, inside row number 4, that is Tyson Blood. Outside of him in the 17, that is Tim Orgerman in the 17. 8 cars, 8 laps the distance. Heat race number 3. We are racing. Beautiful start from Jesse Williamson, outside front row, taking over that race lead. 3 wide behind him between Muth, Schaefer, and Allerdings. As Jesse Williamson beautifully working the bottom side of the racetrack to complete lap number 1. Allerdings taking over that number 1 spot. Oh, contact between Muth and Schaefer. Muff off the top side of the racetrack. He says it, going to go from that 3rd place spot to the back of the pack as Tyson Blood takes over that 3rd place spot on the racing surface. Randy Schaefer sitting there in 4th. Skylar Weinberger is 5th. It is all Jesse Williamson out front in front of Timothy Allerdings. Oh, yellow flag going to fly as Skylar Weinbarger spins out on the exit of turn number 2. We go red for the first time. Lights are out on the racing surface. As we get ready, we are 3 laps complete, 5 laps to go here in heat race number 3. Back to racing action. Heat race number 3. Tyson Blood going to take over that number 2 spot over Timothy Allerdings. It is all Jesse Williamson out front right now. Then Blood, Allerdings, Schaefer, Muth, Maltebarger, Gorman. Excuse me. It looks like Skylar Weinbarger did pull off the racing surface. It is still Williamson, Blood, and Allerdings having a great battle right now for that 2nd place spot. Allerdings getting a big run down the back straightaway going into turn 3. White flag coming out this time around for Jesse Williamson, working his way through 1 and 2, down the back straightaway for the final time here in heat race number 3. Into 3 out of 4. Heat race number 3 goes to Jesse Williamson. Then it is Timothy Allerdings, Tyson Blood, Randy Schaefer, Brett Muth, Tim Maltebarger, and then Tim O'Gorman in the 17, rounding out your finishing order. as we get ready for heat race number 4, rolling out onto the racing surface. In the 82, the Meredith Logging U.S. market out of Otis, that is Eston Whistler. Outside of Whistler in the 58, the Reed's Automotive and 3WT Graphics, that is Devin Reed. Inside row number 2 in the 07X, the Accelerated Urgent Care, that is Troy Morris III in the 07X. Outside of him in the 12, the Harvest Valley Specialties Coburg Distilling Alpine Fence, that is Dustin Comer. Inside row number 3 in the V13, the Precision Performance, Go Plumbing, Performer Chassis, Hoppus Motorsports, Gray Ferrando in the V13. In the 6, that is Jim Pettit. Final car in this group here in the 24, the SKS Racing, Curtis Towns in the 24. 7 cars, 8 laps the distance. We are racing. Aston Whistler won last weekend here at the Cottage Grove Speedway in the late model division. Now he's modified racing here for the Wild West Speed Week. Completing lap number 1, Aston Whistler leads the very first lap. Troy Morris the third, sitting in second. Dustin Comer is third. Oh, contact between Reed and Towns. Towns getting a little out of shape in 3 and 4. Reed going to go back around him. Now Towns fighting to the inside still. Towns car got a big push in the 24 of Curtis Towns. It is still Whistler, Morris, Comer, Ferrando, your top 4 breaking away. Great battle for that 5th spot between Reed, Towns, and Pettit. Still watching on. Nothing has changed in the top 4 as we are just over halfway. 5 down, 3 laps to go. Devin Reed jumping the cushion, going to allow Pettit and Towns around him. It is still Whistler, Morris, Comer, Ferrando, your top 4. Jim Pettit takes over that 5th place spot over Curtis Towns, Devin Reed. White flag is out. One more trip around the park for Eston Whistler. He's got Troy Morris the third right behind him. But did Morris give it up as he went through turns 1 and 2? Looks like it's going to be Eston Whistler, your winner of heat race number 3. Or excuse me, heat race number 4. And it's Troy Morris the third in that 2nd place spot. Dustin Comer 3rd. Gray Ferrando 4th. Jim Pettit 5th. Curtis Towns 6th, and Devin Reed rounds out your racing field. Eston Whistler, ladies and gentlemen. Heat race number 5 for the modified division inside front row. In the 45, the Commercial Metal Products, West End Performance, Producto Sauce Systems, Showtime Graphics out of Springfield, Aaron Sheeler. Outside of Sheeler is the 19K car. The Delta Driveline GRT chassis, that is Buddy Niss in the 19K. Row 2 on the inside, the 00, the first class chassis, Robin Hood Realty Pastime Club, that is Corey Sample. Outside of Sample in the 47, the J&S Farms, Jane King Pizza, Whistler Construction, Water to Go, Lynn Benton Insurance, S&J Truck and Trailer Repair, Napa Auto Parts, Oregon Dahlia, and 1847 Bar and Grill, that is Carter Patterson. Inside row number 3, it looks like, in the 33, the Jim and Sue Gregory Premium Woodworking and Design out of Eugene, that is Paul Ray. Outside of Ray, in the 75, the Eldorado Speed Shop, Fast Track Hobbies, that is Andrew Peckham in the 75. In the 4TH, the B&R Sheet Metal car owned by Eric Ashley, that is John Player. Outside of Player in the 83R, that is Jeffrey Hudson in the 83R at Aquino, the Cascade Auto Recycling car. We are racing for the final heat race of the modified division. Aaron Sheeler getting the jump over Buddy Niss. It's still Sheeler, Niss, side by side down the front straightaway. Still side by side. It is Aaron Sheeler by less than a tenth. Now Niss going to go around Sheeler on the outside of the racetrack. It is Niss, Sheeler, Sample, and Patterson. Patterson trying to follow Niss on the top side of the racetrack. He's going to get around Corey Sample down the back straightaway. It is still Nish, Sheeler, Sample, Patterson, Paul Ray working his way into the picture. He's the loco guy here in the modified division. Multiple track championships out of that 33 car. John Player, Jeffrey Hudson, Andrew Peckham. That is your current running order. Oh, Corey Sample made a little mistake on the exit of turn number 2. Going to allow Carter Patterson to get around to the outside, but he powers his way on the bottom side of the racetrack. That's going to bring Paul Ray into the picture now for that 4th place spot over Carter Patterson. And yes, he does. Paul Ray takes over that 4th place spot. It is still Nish, Sheeler, Sampo. Now Paul Ray, Carter Patterson, your top 5, breaking away from the rest of the pack. 6 down, 2 laps to go that time for Buddy Niss. White flag. One more trip around the park for Buddy Niss, trying to bring it home here in heat race number 5 as the yellow flag flies for Andrew Peckham. Andrew Peckham gonna pull into the pit. So it looks like we will still have 2 laps remaining for the IMCA Modifieds. Quickly back into formation. Delaware double file restart. 2 to go here in heat race number 5. Royalty Core IMCA Sport Mods. They are on deck for their first of 4 heat races, getting ready to take place after 2 laps remaining here for the IMCA Modifieds. Back to race in action. Aaron Sheeler made a mistake in turns 1 and 2. Going to allow Corey Sample to get to his outside and go around him for that 2nd place spot as Sample pushes up the hill just a little bit. Sample working the top side of the racetrack. Buddy Niss trying to pull away from these guys as Aaron Sheeler now motors around the inside of Corey Sample. Paul Ray trying to squeak his way in there. It's going to be Buddy Niss getting the win in heat race number 5. Corey Sample going to hold on to that 2nd place spot. Aaron Sheeler, Carter Patterson, Paul Ray, John Player, Jeffrey Hudson. Your finishing order for heat race number 5 for the IMCA Modifieds. It's like some safety laps here for Steven Sturnavant, as he was one of the reasons we had a caution in heat racing action. Your starting lineup here for heat race number 1 of the IMCA Sport Mods presented by Royalty Core is the 1999, the VP Racing Fuels Pacific Seafood of Newport. That is Dustin Hittner. Outside of Hittner in the 21 JR, that is Vinny DeBenedetti. Inside row number 2 in the 21P, the D&H Motorsports Lentz Machinery, that is Landon Philpott in the 21P. Outside of Philpott in the 60J, the Chuck Schwarm Auto Bates & Built Racing Engine, Cadon Creations. Out of Roseburg, Jordan Henry. Inside row number 3 in the 7SR, the Smogs Plus, that is Mike Flickland Sr. in the 7SR. Outside of him in the 33-3, the Bloom Family Racing Royalty Corps, that is Aaron Bloom. And Mike De Silva is your final starter here in heat race number 1. We are racing! Mike De Silva, the D-Ray Design sponsored entry, Junction City Muffler Shop. Oh, Dustin Hittner almost goes into that infield area. Vinny DeBenedetti going to take over that number 1 spot. He's got Jordan Henry right on his heels. Where did Aaron Bloom come from? He started second to last in this heat race. Quickly finds himself in that 3rd place spot. Jordan Henry battling for that race lead, working the top side of the racetrack. And Henry takes over that number 1 spot right now with Vinny DeBenedetti standing in that 2nd place spot. Then it is Aaron Bloom, Landon Philpott, Dustin, Mike De Silva, and Mike Flickland Sr. and Dustin Henderson. It is still Henry, DeBenedetti, Bloom, now De Silva. Look out. Philpott getting off the racetrack. In the infield goes the 21P. We stay green. Great battle between DeBenedetti and Aaron Bloom. Aaron Bloom working the top side, looking to take over that 2nd place spot. Give it to Aaron Bloom at the start-finish line. It is Henry, Bloom, DeBenedetti, De Silva. Your top 4 have broke away from the rest of the pack between Hittner and Flickland. Two laps remaining here for the first IMCA Sport Mod presented by Royalty Corps Heat Race. Henry gonna see it first. Jordan Henry out front by 0.8 of a second. Right now, the Roseburg native looking to win heat race number 1 for the Royalty Corps IMCA Sport Mods. Jordan Henry, your winner. Then it's Aaron Bloom, Vinny DeBenedetti, Dustin Hittner, Mike De Silva, Dustin Hittner, and then Mike Flickland Sr. rounds out your finishing order, as Landon Philpott was in the infield, as we will get the tow truck out here, get him off the racing surface. Heat race number 2 looks like this. Inside front row in the 33B, the Bloom Family Racing Royalty Corps CEI Coating Mohawk Metal, that is Hunter Bloom. Outside of him in the 3 car, the Bloom Family Racing Royalty Corps CEI Coating Mohawk Metal, that is Garrett Craig. Row 2 on the inside, the 2M, the Brookings Glass, Arneson Racing Engines, Jet Racing, Les Schwab Tires, Darren Farmer, Top Gear Transmission, In Motion Graphics out of Brookings, that is Matt Sanders. Outside of Sanders in the 69, the FM Jones SDMF Custom Shocks by Shockwave, Custom Powderworks, Alpine Fence, Coburg Distilling, and Fusion Graphics, that is Casey Comer. Inside of row number 3 in the 9S, the Mac Tools, Herbal Connections, White Label Extract, and D&M Transporting, Auto Service Express, and Cindy Sowed. Out of Roseburg, Dave Schmidt. Outside of Schmidt in the 19T, the Beckett Management, Hoonigan, Paradise, Jefferson Roadhouse, Delta Transmission, Lemon Motorsports, Rap Racing, D-Ray Designs, Tiffy Racing, and Katrina Nist, that is Trevor Tiffy in the 19. And final car to start here in heat race number 2 is the W7, the Coburg Vodka MC Motorsports STMF Customs out of Coburg. Kevin Williamson in the W7. 7 cars, 8 laps the distance for heat race number 2 is underway. Hunter Bloom getting that early race lead. Look at Matt Sanders working the bottom side of the racetrack. Gets around Casey Comer. Now going to go do battle with the Bloom family out front right now. Looks like it's going to be Garrett Craig leading lap number 1. Matt Sanders has been on an absolute tear in Speed Week. Blew a motor last night at the Douglas County Dirt Track down in Roseburg. Got the new motor in. He runs third right now in heat race number 2. It is Craig, Bloom, Sanders is looking to the outside of Bloom right now. Then it's Comer, Tiffy, Williamson, then Schmidt. Williamson and Tiffy and Schmidt having a great battle. Almost 3 wide there for a brief second. As Matt Sanders has gone around Hunter Bloom. Now looking to get to the inside of Garrett Craig. Down the back straightaway they go. No slide job coming from Matt Sanders yet. Will we see him fire one off in turns 1 and 2? And not quite able to get in front of Garrett Craig. He does power out of it. Matt Sanders to the race lead. It is Sanders, Craig, and Bloom. Your top 3, Comer, Williamson, Schmidt, and Tiffy. Just over halfway, 5 down, 3 to go for Sport Mods heat race number 2. And caution will fly for the 69 of Casey Comer. Comer was running in that 4th place spot. Matt Sanders' Speed Week has looked like this. Number 1 in Medford at the Southern Oregon Speedway. Went back-to-back in Coos Bay for night 2 and 3. So he's won 3, and then he blew a motor last night in the main event at the Douglas County Dirt Track. Got a new motor in today, and he is leading heat race number 2 for the Royalty Corps IMCA Sport Mods. Getting ready to restart here. Back to racing action. Sanders holds on to that race lead. Then it is Hunter Bloom, Garrett Craig, Kevin Williamson. Oh, contact between Tiffy and Schmidt. Schmidt keeps it going. Tiffany spins it around. Tiffy trying to get it back underway. And he will rejoin onto the racing surface. White flag is out. One more trip around the park for Matt Sanders. 1.7 second lead for the Brookings native. Into 3 and 4 for the final time. Matt Sanders gets the win. And it is Hunter Bloom, Garrett Craig, Kevin Williamson, Dave Schmidt, and then Trevor Tiffy going to finish in